As this is a first come, first served application, we'd like to offer a few tips to make the process of filling out and submitting an application as efficient as possible. First, if possible, you'll want to prepare required information and documentation ahead of time for each piece of equipment using the checklist in the program guidance. Second, your application will contain one or more project components. The project component is the baseline equipment and the equipment that you'll replace it with. You'll want to group all of your equipment that you're applying for into one application. Doing so will avoid errors and make sure that your application can be processed as efficiently as possible. Next, I'd like to go over a few different scenarios that you may find yourself in if you're applying for multiple pieces of equipment. First, you may have all components with complete documentation and all are ready to submit. You've gone through the checklist, you make sure that you have all the information and you're ready to go. If that's the case, add all equipment to the application, complete the forms, and submit the application. All components will be given the same timestamp and all will be evaluated at the same time. You might have one piece of equipment with complete information and documentation, and then some components without some piece of information that you need. You'll want to add only the component that has complete documentation to the application. Complete the forms and then submit the application. Any components that you submit at that time will be given the same timestamp and evaluated at the same time. Now, for the project components that you don't have complete information for, you can add those after the application is submitted by going here and clicking on the plus button. After you add them and work on completing them, when you're ready, you can submit the additional project component on the equipment screen with this button. Each will be given a new timestamp and will be evaluated separately from any other project components. Lastly, you might still be working on all the documentation for all of the equipment. If that's the case, you can start the application at any time, start working on the information that is available, and go ahead and submit the project component whenever you're ready to do so. If you submit all of them in one application at the same time, they'll all be given the same timestamp. If you submit them one at a time, they'll be given separate timestamps. Finally, we have a few final tips. When applying for multiple pieces of similar equipment, after you finish filling in one piece of equipment, you can use the copy function. This will take the information from this piece of equipment and copy it over to a new record where you can continue filling that in for that new piece of equipment. Lastly, we want to make sure that you check your information carefully before submitting. After the application is submitted, the application will be locked and you won't be able to change information about that piece of equipment. To avoid mistakes that might delay your application, please verify that the right information and documentation have been placed with the right equipment record. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions about the first come, first served application process or using the application for multiple pieces of equipment, please email us at californiabwtrust@baaqmd.gov.